Hello, if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Courtney. This video will guide you through more of an intermediate style practice. So for those that have practiced yoga before, are familiar with certain terminology and just sort of where your body needs to be. If you haven't, like you're totally cold right now, you can sort of pause before starting this video, take a few moments to just sort of warm up because this is going to be sort of, we're going to start and just sort of go with it. This video will kind of be focusing a little bit more on hips and twists and all that fun stuff. So we'll be propless again today. If you know that you like using blocks, please feel free to grab your blocks if you own some, or some books that you don't mind sweating on, cans, jars, anything that you can just rest a hand on, something that won't topple over. If you're using two, then just sort of trying to find two similar objects or ones that are of similar height, getting just in some comfortable clothing that you can move in, maybe have a sip of water close by, and yeah, get ready to start. So we'll start just very briefly on the back. You can have your knees bent, soles of your feet planted on the floor. If you want to sort of spend some time just moving through the body, warming up, getting centered in your space, getting really grounded, please feel free to pause and do that on your own. I'm going to turn this way for now just to start things off. So once you're ready to begin, we'll just start by lifting the right leg up and away from the floor, sort of creating a 90-degree angle with the thigh and the shin. Shin is somewhat parallel to the ceiling. And then keeping the thigh as still as you can, start to guide your right ankle away from you in space. So this is going to internally rotate the hips slightly. Then we're going to switch and externally rotate, bringing the inner right ankle towards you. Thigh presses away from you in space. Just sort of moving back and forth a few times here. Sort of like a rudder on a boat, just sort of flipping side to side with the shin. And sort of really trying to maximize how far your foot can sort of flare out each way. And after you've done this a few times, you can start to change whatever position your ankle is in, maybe rolling it around, flexing the ankle, pointing the toes. And the next time your ankle comes in towards you, let's hook the ankle onto the outside of the left thigh. Keep energetically pressing your thigh away from you. From here, let's consider the possibility of trying to lift the ankle away from the thigh while keeping the knee pressing away from you. So going ahead and trying to lift the ankle away from you towards your face, towards the top of your head, but keeping your thigh pressing away from you. It might turn back in a little bit. And lower down. Let's do that 3 more times. Lifting. Really actively trying to keep your ankle coming closer and closer towards you, and then release, let the thigh press away. 2 more, lifting, 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 engaging through the outer lateral hip area, and pressing down, letting the thigh send away from you. 1 last time, lifting, 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 lifting. And easing the foot down, letting the thigh melt away from you. Lifting back up, bringing the thigh in towards your chest, straighten the leg up towards the ceiling. And just do that a few more times, bending the knee and extending it up towards the ceiling any amount. Noticing how the backs of your legs are feeling, how your back is doing today, and bending the knee back down onto the floor. You don't need to move. I'm just going to switch directions so you can see what I'm doing here. We'll switch sides, lifting the left leg up this time, shin parallel to the ceiling, creating that 90-degree angle with the leg, And keeping the thigh as still as it can. It's gonna move regardless. And just start to fin the left ankle out to the side. Really pushing into that sort of, you'll feel as if you've hit sort of an invisible wall. Keep pressing into that space and doing the same thing. Once you sort of hit that point where you just can't press your leg any further, keep pressing into that space. And you can just move side to side a few times. You can choose how fast the leg moves or how slowly. You can choose how long you hold, how long you push into that invisible wall space. Just moving through the leg. So as the inner ankle comes towards you, that's externally rotating. And when you bring the ankle away, internally rotating. Just getting the hips ready for some movement. If you'd like playing around with what the foot is doing, I guess I habitually was just pointing my foot down towards the floor the entire time. You can have your foot flexed as well, totally up to you. And from here, hooking the left ankle on the outside of the right thigh, allowing the leg to just press away. From here, considering that possibility of lifting the ankle away from the thigh. I'm actively pushing my thigh away from me, even though it looks as if it's come a little bit closer. And I'm really trying to bring my heel in towards the top of my head, towards the wall behind me. Ease the foot back down. Just keep letting that thigh push away from you. You'll notice it'll melt further and further away each time, or it'll feel that way maybe. Once again, lifting the ankle up and away. And back down. 2 more times. Lifting up, up, up and away. And easing back down. You may notice that one side sort of is a little bit more easy or a little bit more mobile, a little bit more willing to lift off than the other. This is the side where my body's like, okay, let's wake up and work. Lower down. Keep pressing the thigh away from you. And bringing the knee in towards the chest, unhooking the ankle, and starting to extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Bending the knee and straighten it a few times. I'm moving quite slow, I guess, right now. You can move as fast or slow as you like, really pressing your heel up towards the ceiling, peeling your toenails back towards your face. Hugging both knees in towards your chest, either grabbing onto the front of the shins, back of the thighs, or just having your arms off to the side. You can just sort of sway a little bit side to side, rock and roll, maybe circle the knees a few times, either both going the same direction or circling them opposite directions. Just taking a little moment on your back to just kind of roll around a little bit. And we'll make our way into tabletop, so you can rock up or roll off to the side, rolling over the ankles or sweeping the legs off to the side, just starting to move through the spine a little bit. This could be cat and cow, or moving side to side, circling the spine. You can even come down onto your elbows if you'd like. Really just taking this as a moment to move your body however you'd like. Something I forgot to mention at the beginning of class, just keep moving as you will as I say this. I do have a little bit of a nerve injury in my arm, so I may be talking about things like chaturanga and things like that, but some things I won't actually be demonstrating more than once, just to keep my body happy and in a safe and healing place. From here, let's ground down and start to bring some attention to your wrists. You can keep moving through your spine as you do this. So some things could be playing around with the directions that your fingertips are facing, the distance that your hands are to your knees. You can come onto different edges of the wrists, different parts of the hand. There's other things you can do, like being grounded and trying to lift one finger at a time. Other things could be leaning back, pointing the hands up and tapping the floor, really firing up through the forearms, get spicy pretty fast. Or other options could be starting to try to press both heels of your palms up and away, thumbs can lift, and really trying to go nice and slow, nice and controlled, pressing down through the fingers, whew. Really shifting your weight over your wrists rather than backing off and just lifting. It's a little bit harder the more weight you have over top. Few options here, but just really preparing your wrists to start bearing load on them. It's funny how sometimes we come into a yoga setting and we're just like, okay, let's just do a bunch of stuff on our hands, on our wrists. Are like, what are you doing to me? So just anytime if your wrists are sort of complaining, you can just take a moment, pause, and give them a little bit of wrist relief. One option that could be begging dog, bringing hands up towards your wrists, curling the knuckles down towards the floor. But anyways, from tabletop, let's start to curl the toes underneath, press down through the hands, send the hips up and back into downward facing dog, taking a moment to shift the weight side to side, maybe sway the hips, the head. You can allow the jaw to relax, maybe opening and closing a few times. You can come up onto your tippy toes and lower. Another thing that might feel a little strange but maybe feel good is just sort of moving your tongue around in your mouth, poking into the left and right side of your cheeks, giving it a little bit of a swirl. This is one of those poses that we visit a few times in a standard yoga class. That being said, it doesn't always have to be, but this is one where you can choose this pose to sort of check in, see how you're feeling, see how you're doing. This is another one where if you're like, I do not want to be on my hands anymore, feel free to drop down onto the knees, coming into child's pose or any other pose that is restful and comfortable for you. Start to bend the knees, look forward, walk your way towards your hands, allowing the head to hang heavy and start to roll up to stand. Finding your footing, your hips, standing with your feet about hip distance apart, could be a little bit closer, a little bit further apart, just depending on how your body is feeling today. Taking a breath in here, and a breath out through the nose. On your next inhale, reach the arms up, overhead, look up. Exhale, starting to fold down, bowing over the legs. Inhale, lifting the hands up to the shins or thighs, halfway. Exhale, hands come down, step the right leg back, tapping the knee down to the floor. Reach the hands up high overhead. On your next breath in, let's grow an inch and twist over to the right. Sorry, left. So used to mirroring, and now it's I can just say whatever I'm doing. Inhale, back up. And you can do that 2 more times, or this time reaching the left hand back, bringing your right elbow to hook on the outside of the left thigh. Keep your thigh pressing into your elbow. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands down by your heart, or do one of those first variations, twisting over, and maybe you stay here, or there's the option to lean forward, once again pressing your thigh into your elbow, trying to get your hands to sort of line up with your sternum, bringing your hands right to the center of your chest. Maybe the arms open up, spreading the palms, reaching down to the earth and up to the sky. Hands can come back to heart, unhook, bringing the hands down to the floor. Sorry, I'm gonna have my back to you for a second. We're gonna move through Skandasana. So lifting the back knee up, you can start to walk your feet out to the side. You can be up high here, or you can be low. And just sort of move side to side. any amount. And start to pivot on your back foot. Hands come down to the floor, right leg is in front, left knee taps down to the floor. Inhale the arms up. Let's grow that extra inch once again. And open up towards the front leg. Inhaling up and doing that again, or reaching the right arm back, left elbow hooks on the outside, pressing the thigh in towards the elbow, knee is guiding towards the baby toe side edge of your foot. Inhaling up, exhaling hands to heart, twisting open, and option to lean and hook, spreading through the shoulders, maybe extending the hands up and down, taking a breath here, bringing hands back to heart, untwist, hands come back to the floor, find that pivot once again, coming into Skandasana. Lots of variations of this. You can have your feet pointing sort of out to the side or forward. Totally up to you today. And spinning everything around towards your left leg, bringing both hands down to the floor, stepping back to plank. From here, this is where you have your first option to flow through that chaturanga, back bend of your choice in downward facing dog, or you can hold plank or move straight to downward dog. So the flow option could be moving through chaturanga, up into upward facing dog or baby cobra, and exhaling into downward dog. Taking a few breaths here. I'm also going to use this as a moment to catch my breath as I'm speaking and doing this. Next breath comes in, and on your exhale, bend your knees, look forward, walk, step, or hop towards your hands. Lifting halfway once you arrive, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold back forward. Inhale the arms up high overhead, and exhale down by your sides. We'll move through two more sun salutations, just normal Surya Namaskar A. Again, I will not be doing the chaturangas for this, so if you do want to hop back to chaturanga, you can go ahead. If you want to step back to plank and move through chaturanga, please do that, but also feel free to hold plank or move straight to downward dog. Breath comes in and out through the nose. Inhale the arms up high, filling the space. Exhale, cascading over the legs as you fold forward. Inhale brings you up halfway. Exhale, hands come down, making your way to chaturanga or plank. Moving through your flow, holding here, or moving straight to downward facing dog. Once in downward dog, taking 3 breaths here. That's 1. That's 2. As you exhale this 3rd breath, bend the knees, look forward, make your commute towards your hands. Inhale, lengthen halfway once you get there. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale the arms high up overhead, and let's bow right away over the legs on your exhale. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, hopping to chaturanga or stepping to plank. On your exhale, moving through your flow, holding plank or moving straight to downward dog. Another 3 breaths here. Last inhale. Exhale, looking forward, bending the knees, walking, stepping, maybe hopping at this point to the front of your mat. Lifting halfway once you step there. Exhale, back down towards the floor. Inhale the arms up high overhead, and exhale down by your sides. From here, let's sit back into an invisible chair, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose, also known as awkward pose, fierce pose. It's just a pose with a lot of names. Bringing your hands in towards your heart, twisting over towards the left. This is where you have the other option to hook the knee, making sure you're pressing your right hip and right knee back in space. You may notice it wants to creep forward. Option to spread the arms nice and wide. From here, you can keep your arms wide, keep hooked or not. Start to lift up onto your right tippy toes and slowly move back into a lunge. Please note that I might fall over here and I'm probably not going to edit it out. If your arms are open, bringing them back to heart, reaching back up towards the ceiling, pulling your front thigh back, right hip comes forward, creating lots of space in the lower back. You can have a soft bend in your knees. Tipping your body forward, hovering over your thigh, reaching your hands back. Elbows stay nice and straight. Try to keep pressing your arms in towards center. Keep breathing here. Maybe you start to pour your weight so far forward that the back toes start to reach up and away from the floor. Hands can stay where they are, squeezing in. They can reach for your heart or overhead. If it feels okay on your SI joints, your lower back, imagine you're trying to lower your right hip down towards the floor. Toes are pointing directly down. Bend through the standing knee, come back up to your lunge, framing your front foot with your hands, step back to plank. Option to flow here, hold here, or move straight to downward dog. When in downward dog, keep reminding yourself to press down through your hands, spiral up through the upper arms, spreading your shoulders across your back. Breath comes in. As you exhale it out, making your way towards your hands any way you'd like. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, the arms up high overhead. And exhale, hands down by your side. Whew. Let's sit back into chair pose, reaching the arms up high. Hands come to heart, twisting over to the right. Keeping that left knee now pressing back, hip stays back. Option to lean in and hook the elbow on the outside of the right thigh. Maybe the arms spread nice and wide like wings, or they can stay where they are, bringing more weight into your right foot as you peel your left heel away from the floor. Slowly and carefully making your way back into this twisted crescent lunge, spreading through the shoulders. Keep pushing your thigh in towards your elbow, towards that baby toe side edge of the foot. If your hands are apart, bring them together. Untwist here, reaching the hands up. Once again, guiding the right hip back, left hip forward. So you can have a soft bend in the back knee to allow the spine to sit a little bit straighter rather than this big swoopy back bend. Bringing your chest forward, arms reach back behind you. Lots of energy out the top of the head and out through the back leg, out through the back heel here. Elbows stay nice and straight. Arms squeeze in towards each other. Tip your weight a little further forward, coming up, warrior 3. Rooting down through the standing heel. Standing leg can be bent or straight. You can find any variation you'd like with your arms, looking a few feet in front of your mat here. Reaching the back toes down. Arms reach up. And exhale, bringing them down to the floor, stepping back to plank. From here, holding, moving through your chaturanga, back bend, and we'll all meet in downward dog, or child's pose, of course, is always an option. Let's inhale the right leg up towards the ceiling. Swing the knee forward on your exhale in towards your upper right arm. Slide your knee down towards your wrist. Pull it back up. 2 more. Just dragging it down and sliding up, down, and up. Inhale the right leg back up towards the ceiling. And then back in towards the chest, stepping towards your right thumb, using your hand to help assist the leg to get there if needed. Inhale the arms up high. Inhale, reach the arms up, opening towards the front leg. And this is where you have the option to bring the hands to the heart. Maybe finding that hook once again, you can bend the knee and maybe start to come forward. Option to lift the leg off the floor. And this can also be unbound, revolved half moon. Hand can be on your back. Lots of options here. Slowly lower the leg back down, arms come up high. Exhale the hands down to the floor. Option to move through your vinyasa or your chaturanga here. Hold plank or downward facing dog. Inhale the leg up high. Exhale in towards the left upper arm. Slide the knee down to the wrist and up. Lowering and lifting. Last one, lowers and lifts. Legs comes up towards the sky. And on your exhale, bringing it forward towards your left thumb. And inhale the arms up. Once you have your balance and a sturdy foundation, lift up and open up towards that front left leg, keeping your knee pressing out towards the left. You can keep your arms wide here or bring in towards the chest, finding that bind, bringing your weight forward. Maybe the foot steps in a little bit, coming into this revolved half moon shape. So hard. Finding any variation that works for you, or like I'm finding right now on this side, just keep on trying until you find your balance, or you just might not. Lower the leg back down. And exhale the palms down on either side of the front foot. Step back to plank, holding, flowing, or moving to downward dog. On your next exhale, bending the knees, looking forward, walk, step, or hop. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale the arms up high overhead. And exhale down by your sides. You can use any opportunity you'd like to just grab a sip of water, take a little rest, and we'll start to make our way closer down towards the floor here. Inhale and sit back, Utkatasana, chair pose. From here, let's come up onto the right tippy toes. Lifting the leg up, bringing the leg to cross over the left thigh. Arms can be wherever you like. Right now mine are just out to the side. Keep the standing leg bent. I'm shaking here. And remember when we considered lifting the ankle away from the thigh on our backs? Let's go ahead and try that. Lifting the foot away and easing it down. Lifting up and down. One more up, woo, and down. Uncross and switch sides. Peeling the left heel away, coming up to cross over, sit back. Lifting the ankle away from the thigh and lowering. Lifting and lowering. One more. Lifting up and down. Uncrossing, sitting back. Stepping the feet a little bit wider. Come all the way down. Heels can lift off the floor. And as slowly as you can, come all the way up onto the tippy toes. Let's do that again, bringing ankles together. Bending down. Nice and slow here, finding a stationary place to find your balance. Bringing your hands to your heart. You can close your eyes here. Lift your heels up and away from the floor. Squeeze them in towards each other. Though as you can probably see if you're looking at mine, there'll be some wobbles. From here, twist over to the right, maybe hooking. And you can pause here, or this is where you can bring hands to the floor beside you. Maybe leaning your way into side crow, lifting the feet off the floor. Option to go into EPK, Ikapada Kuranyasana, one of the variations. Come back up to center from wherever you went, twisting over to the left, hooking on the outside. Option to stay there. Here is right, just totally fine, or hands come to the floor. I don't think I can do it on this side. Lifting up and away. Or not, maybe we just stay right here. Option to straighten the legs, any amount coming into that Ikapada Kuranyasana. Lifting back up through center and making your way down onto your seat. Taking a moment to just sort of cool down. Let's come into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet come together. Knees open down towards the floor. You can even spread your feet open as if you're reading or opening a book. Taking a moment here. If you'd like, you can bring your hands behind you, opening up nice and proud through the chest, shining the heart forward. You can stay here, or maybe you'd like to walk your hands in front of you, rounding over towards your toes. You can bring your forehead down, chin slightly towards your chest. Option to stay where you are, walk hands over to the right, breathing into the left side ribs, opening them up like gills of a fish, breathing into that space. Walking through center and over to the left side. If you went to either side, walk back to center and slowly bring yourself back up to a seated position, closing the knees in. And then we'll walk our feet out so that the front leg comes into a 90-degree angle and the back leg comes into a 90-degree-ish angle. So 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90, 90. From here, your hands can be behind you, on your hips, by your heart, wherever they end up. And from here, we'll keep this back leg, the thigh, grounded. You can lean forward a little bit and start to lift just your back ankle away from the floor and lower. Try not to shift as much as you can, just lifting and lowering. If you get a little cramp, you can swish it out side to side, lifting up and down, lifting and lowering. Let's bring the knees all the way through center and over to the other side, finding that 90-degree-ish angle with both the front and the back leg. Thigh stays grounded, chest stays lifted, lifting the back leg and lowering. This might be more of an energetic lift. Lifting, I am sore today, lowering. 2 more, lifting and lowering, lifting up and lower down. Coming back through center, over to the other side. Ooh, I'm feeling that. Hands can once again be behind, wherever. From here, you can lean forward a little bit, but try not to as much as possible. Now we're gonna lift the entire back leg up, away from the floor. So lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. Oh, I'm in struggle mode here. Lifting and lowering, lifting up and down. Come through center and over to the other side. Take a breath in, knowing what's coming next. We're going to try lifting this entire leg off the floor, but of course you can just do those first lifts, or you can just sort of hang out here. This is a great pigeon variation. Okay, lifting the back leg up. I don't know if mine's gonna go on this side. And down. Imagine the whole leg is lifting up and down. Lifting and lowering. Lifting the leg up and down. Back to center. Let's just sort of windshield wiper back and forth here. You may notice yourself, I'm sort of creeping off and away from the mat. And we'll make our way back onto the mat in a way that we can just lie all the way down onto the back, keeping your knees bent. Walk your heels in so they feel nice and comfortable. We're gonna press up into bridge pose here, creating a nice stable foundation between the knee, the shin, and the ankle, making sure they're all talking to each other in a way that feels good and supported in your body. Start to press down through your heels and roll your hips up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing down through the heels, slightly in with the thighs, not trying to knock the knees together, but just a slight inward push. Option to stay here, you also can roll onto the upper arms, interlacing hands underneath if that's what you'd like, or bending sort of like this robot shape. And you can hold here or start to lift your right leg up and away from the floor. It can stay bent or straighten. Push the hips up and soften down. Lifting and lowering. Lifting and lowering. Last one. Push it up, bend it down, switch sides. Left leg comes up, hips lift up, up, up. Soften the hips down towards the floor just to hover and push up. Lowering and lifting. Lower and lift. Last one. And lift. Bending the knee down, pressing the hips up one last time. Heels push into the floor and soften the spine back down. Whew. Take a moment. You can let your knees drop side to side. Let's guide the knees in towards the chest, hugging or just pushing in. Take a moment to rock and roll again. Circle. And with hands off to the side, either straight, bent, or just sort of willy-nilly off to the side. And you can drop both knees over to the right, coming into any spinal variation here, twist that you'd like. Both knees can stay bent. You can straighten your top leg or come into supine eagle pose. Eyes can be opened or closed. Gaze can be over your left shoulder up towards the ceiling. Guide the knees back through center and drift over to the left side. Once again, finding the variation of your choice, gaze of your choice, and just breathing here. Letting everything soften down into the floor, nice and heavy. Drawing the knees back to center. Open your knees out towards your shoulders. Start to lift the legs up to the ceiling, reaching for the outer leg or the feet. Coming into happy baby. Just let yourself rock side to side, keeping your sacrum, your lower back, nice and heavy down towards the floor. And we'll make our way to Shavasana. You can take the next few minutes for yourself to just sort of find any last movements that you feel would complete your practice today. And I'll let you pause and do your own Shavasana so you can have straight legs and arms, knees bent, maybe the knees knocked together and feet go wide. Option for the Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, thighs dropping down towards the floor. You can also come to a seated meditation or be prone on your stomach. I'll leave that up to you. That can be your time. You can stay there for as long as you'd like, but please give yourself a Shavasana. Allow the body to just integrate the last, I'm not actually sure at this point how long this has been. So thank you so much for joining me online. Please feel free to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe if you have a YouTube account. Let me know if you have any feedback, any suggestions. This is still all very new, and I'm learning how hard it is to teach, talk and do the class at the same time. Also, there's been a few moments in this class where I've planned it in my head and I'm like, oh, my body can't actually do this today. So I hope you feel totally welcome to feel all those things in your body as well. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. Stay safe and healthy. Namaste.